ya sana mwacho murigiria karibu naende mwe kwa neta sesemi ya kabire anene chinga kitu yale niririo gukwanira ya ngite Kenya's political state litukirigeria rero no mugeni one toteme kurigiria mange na gotema kuinyurani ku review ngaki umwaka obeire ngaki na riria ba Kenya baetira makonkero kende nonekero abantu bagososo mwe kubikilifubire na mirongo ibiri na isano nemo bagusaba ngatanya reko ba gakwirora gototeme ko batukurigiria toteme kurigiria sensemo yo gochinu akibintu byabere bikone kigwaturigiria gusensemo ikisemi na boigo chisemo cha magenderande au na kobora ninga krokende bono tubate miaka meke uchobo choli 2027 krokende kilia kibona tako priority so asirende tonishwanga na kroto so sobo choli mwananchi onyare koba gakuragwa boikran Machubulile karibu sanga mnaitu wetereza sema mitandao Facebook, YouTube, Twitter na botambe kiriga kwa Cyrus Azizi ntetu kumwaligi no mageni agusogerie tumenya guchaka sinchira ya karibu sana ndani.
Mimi mwana Azizi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Asante. Ya oyo minto mo oyo turigirete kwa chinsa mwenye chinso mu gusio minto. Amona bali batali abagusira kini baraba mashabiki ya Itaya TV. Bia mona asengencho ya mambo ya lero twanyoranire nyasawa bairo muya otumiranire rero tusange amangana igoro yenchira ensi ya itegendrete ya Kenya bia mona
uya sana akili mulioka na watoto tukurigiria majorly Kenya's political state na watoto tukubolinga krokende karo assess the current state imeyense na mangana lengete siasa tumaiti what are the key challenges ense eganda tagwetera gwikarero
mbuya mono yo mintaziz ense ito ya Kenya just like any other country in the world Maite bono against ya vila global village. Kato kwanere ya Kenya, kato kwanere in the context of Kenya kunere lakini in relation to the global village. Economically, globally mangana talibia. Aboge mabwa bantu aboge ndrete kokonga. Systems, governments inchibwata na awakening, but you tell go transform to a change of livelihood ya wananchi wa kawaida. But now more specifically to Kenya, challenges to face actually is strife, yani kuamirania kati yo mwananchi wa kawaida na serikali yetu. Serikali ni bwate enjireta yetu kwa ibintu byayo na wananchi mbabwate expectations cyabo digitally commit at any point. So kwama konyoranga there is strife, so kuamirani ngororo kati ya serikali na wananchi. Yes.
Abo tutukuri limejalia samangana yalengete current political landscape karo kuyirigelia fully na Dan being that you understand this very well previous to beto twara opposition leadership were very strong na ikerete kango kinaigana ikerete kero montabu iru chikura abere number 2 igare koswa obunge direct but that one is not again happening according to our constitution currently. But we currently have an opposition, Yekuruka, the united opposition. Is that opposition currently playing well the role of an opposition team, opposition leadership? Egere kubeka serikali koba accountable ase ebikoro byai.
First of all, the anchakira swachakira. System ya right of what I think it's more presidential. But I think a parliamentary system, a blend of the presidential and parliamentary system. I think for any government to be effective, there must be also be an effective opposition. When your opposition very effective, then the government will held accountable. So when we have like now in our setting, as a Keromontori or Chile number akoba purely in the opposition, to speaking in funerals, criticize serikali. Tabu ati an official channel, a reconstructive, as criticize serikali, which was now being provided by a parliamentary system. The chief opposition leader in parliament. That's true. And the one of parliament, actually, as much as executive we go execute, parliament in a very big role as a shape a narrative. Yes, serikali we say yes, so Kerala in parliament was a very constructive way of engaging the government. That is why sometimes I've never had a chance to talk about the late Raila Amolo Odinga. Oh, that's all. That is where now, for me, now Raila is one man who was a genius. That's true. I think Enjo Obuiru. Serikali ya chile tuli parliament tuli enwe ereri bagalenge kuganya amatanga agenda chukwana samatanga alenge koligie njira ago ikanasa ne serikali yuba bama. For me that was a genius way of thinking, because bono no akeli yogi muna bono the current dispensation wagendrete no bo monyali yogi una gashagwa onye tubu atianda semo komera na ne serikali muikanasa semo kuane. I tell you there is nothing na boko na waka eli yogi asigari goro na boko serikali era na yorega. So I think that is an area ntuna aba Kenya tukwenda tochiturigereri egere to reformati system yeto yoborai in working governments and the way democracy which ayari gererigo actually opposition leader agwenda gutwara mpaka ntokora ke shadow cabinet okonyoronya ne minister for finance we serikali na abwata somebody in the opposition nero ngabune minister for finance common movement. So this shadow cabinet a very good criticism of the government because they are moving step by step in serikali. Wana nageko gara bono igano mboli nche siasa ya bono yenga tukonya gwaka embaka mutimati ozongorole nuro kange bindo baje bakora na obinga iko bono igagasha gwa nabanga nuro kange bunga majina. Yeah, maybe we do a brief review of what has happened currently against 2025 Ichaka, and I could really like to us to focus majorly on matters health and on matters education. Maybe we start from education. You've seen what has happened, and it is happening when we have a working government. We have a minister on that docket. What does that tell you as a Kenyan citizen? Mbiyamano wako na health na bwana wocha kirasa njiro munyagitari kira kiyumbu yetu yakire. Actually for a working government ya serikali abantu bamanyenge serikali yengo kolere ebintu mbiroro na biro bibwenta ko ba ngango koravira education system system we work health we work cost of commodities we kachiba accessible as abantu taxation we keep very fair na ende we correct and go deal na corruption. Actually ebina bintu kero kwanda angirete na bintu nalengere tinge bintu ebimbire important ase nkwana ita ya biro sa. So education umaite egasi serikali no ko ensure abantu baya mbara available for utilization. Abantu baya mbara available for utilization. One of the ways no ko ensure no what the human resource but trained to give that which you want. Na it's the responsibility of the government to make it easy to access education. Serikali chirichia kolire buya in the western countries na wantu nyokwana ngatobe Singapore tobe first world. Ndoko ba first world onye education still kero muzigo asaba na inchi. When Kibaki came into power, and I want to really thank Kibaki sometimes for that, 202 amate budget yetu ya tu kanya tinda ba monene mono lakini na nchite siasa alitu abwatenga for the people watu wengi kero toike baro tukanyore turaba kai so ninyo etema Kibaki ya promise Kibaki ga promise tinga unako ile serikali ya 3 education basic education will be free and all my NP it became free again to atagete chi serikali chi speech ya chirase Kibaki chikore no make education ebe more free going even into higher levels while maintaining quality education yabe ngambiere but also more importantly again take ya competence based ekine kigento na kero kitu atagetegeche ikiagera mna nate bang serikali kasi no go make sure abantu bara available bago drive its economic agenda serikali te kunyara ku employ bantu onsipi so as much as they train them the reason why to atagete education system we change engineering abantu abange kero ba kurure school babembale able to self employ or work within the private sector ikiara serikali te kunyara ku balika bonse. But no, over time, as much as what I can make education here, make you self-reliant, the funding of this education has become again a burden which is over 90. And it's not like serikali ete kunyara go wakanira for free education. Look at what is happening around. One go MP ataita na ne basari. Omo MCA ataita na ne basari. Omo governor ataita na ne basari. Omo senator ataita na ne basari. President ngoenda na le basari. Chiba si chiba kuna kwa na ne basari for me. The problem is that idea. Yoko na ne basari. Na ndebo no ebaji anchita singi it works for them. Kerongo kwa basari ogo attached na inche egera ngoja kukolia kurokoreke onge but you see that is coming at the expense of mwananchi chiwe siricho on speech yango ba chiwe kwamo chichane ri directly to education turu sia mangana basari otomanya education is free that thing is workable chiwe se jire in forms of basari everywhere left right and center chiwe siri they can go to education through the ministry fund free education and that is where we should be going. Kwamboli Goroye Minister, I want to not to answer that very directly because a current regime in work, I think the president is at the center of everything. There is a vision he wants to push and he is the driver of that vision. Nero go drive a vision here. Which for me is both good na ikona challenges zake. Sometimes when you let people work on their own, they can be more productive than when you drive them. But again, sometimes karoko nyoranga na you what a vision get you abantu what build everything long. Again, it takes you to drive it. So tinda itiko mojaji mono. But fundamentally, there is a problem. You president and the problem is how can we make education free in Kenya? That is the discussion we should be having now. Una have a lot of enthusiasm around infrastructure and all that. Even the bimbuya. Lakini ora make education expensive. For how long engineer we want to have our own people. We want to have our own people, economists, to drive our economy. So let's work on education. Let's work on education so that we have our people who will drive our economy at all sectors.
Yes, Anna, that is your part on Manganalingate education. Now back to health, and actually, it all health one to in and dwell on matters health. Na radio one sana chi nyitalicha kiabene na ndubate kiabene kire ondi n'abantu na nkire kiga faith based na radio kwanera sana nyagitali echunga some of the hospitals yokonyore kirigeta abantu barabanyagitali bado on county hospitals. I think that one is true. I really don't know. You will tell us on that. And he talked on about again manganalingete fraud as a umrobiliosha. So I want us to at least you give a brief feeling and thinking as a manganaya. We have been having people complaining, oh, SHA is not working. People have gone to hospitals, they are not receiving medication. Other people are saying indeed SHA is working, yes. Other ones who are from the receiving end that major n'abanyagitari bunainu numo watemu abandi baramikirenga ntwaro korwali tole na SHA. But now the problem is, do we receive chibeste chika to kurwali madeni kiagara ayo nchengo chali kwa ndwali nasoka umuntu rapo ngenda utakiri wakana bande mirara for instance. So ngaki obochenu wabeire kiagara we previously had moziro manga I think on that docket. We currently have dual.
Thank you very much. Amangana health, actually namangana bunanje I can say I'm very passionate about. Nandikera agukwaneru agutaka a lot of time.
That's
but in that thing sankonye be very brief. But nandi be very helpful. If you want to have as a government people who work for the economy, education and health. That's mababe healthy, but might be productive.
That's true.
As much as they might be educated. So health is a very important pillar as a serikali endowance. And that's why even globally, primary health care is a very serious goal. You care serikali wende wikirani. Primary health care means that kero muntu na wende konyora basic health care quality accessible. I want to say the answer kirega kera mara mange ogochaka na go determine kirega inda itimbe misunderstood. I want to say in serikali ye through the policies and everything as a department of health, I think it's the most ambitious, the most pragmatic government to address the issue of primary health care. And the issue of SHA is the most brilliant idea so far actually in matters addressing primary health care and generally health care. But now, where is the problem? Like I said before, the system they go work from just one end. A system cycle. It must always be round. And there is every end tied to the other end. So, as a department of health, we have all these key players. Chinyagitari echichikorwa ali abaroire ndobwate regulators regulators abo nabono KMPDC na kwa license chinyagitari and all that ndobwate regulators then ndobwate insurance umatesha is not similar or is not same a government. SHA ne insurance ne iliere owned na serikali. And for me I say SHA ne went to cover latitude, ne went to cover latitude, ne went to cover livaga. You cover insurance as much as a part of the government. You cannot separate the Ministry of Health and SHA. They are just the one and the same thing. So those are the key players. Then kerto kwanda jingitali ndo wata jingitali cha serikali, ndo wata jingitali cha private, ndo wata jingitali cha faith based. Kero to kwanda jingitali echi ndo wata abanyagitali, then ndo wata suppliers, ndo wata so many other players around jingitali. By the way, kero ko ligere the structure of healthcare and tayo inajie bwanda ko benyinge buna chinyagitali. Because you got the players abange, that's where everything meets. Moroire no agojo meet yabo, insurance no agojo meet yabo, suppliers no agojo meet yabo, nyagitali no agojo meet yabo. So abu no chimbu cha serikali chibwanda koba. So what happened? The government was very ambitious and of course it was very progressive. To SHA, I got to attend the healthcare accessible to our people. But this for me was a very rushed idea. So what happened? Registration ya SHA mostly actually driven by hospitals. So hospitals ikakonya bantu bakaba registered here, the Huduma Center bantu bakaba registered abanga at the same time. Then SHA can make one fundamental problem mistake. Unoko register SHA, you qualify to benefit from it. Immediately. So what that meant, kuna kuwa register bantu 10 million lero, all the 10 million
must receive,
qualify to benefit today. So when you write to benefit today. By the time we were doing all these things, I remember kwenye naona serikali tira put in money for example primary health care. But immediately wenda kwenye service. I think that is a fundamental problem ba collect. Mistake ba collect. Then Mbabege limitations was the safeguards on the extent of the benefit you more than so register lero went up to CT scan or CT scan yaro kino what the shido motu went to baru motu or Kuruabo went to Rosso ward Minyoka. So you are operating from a negative check, lakini accumulate, claims. So fundamentally, they score their own goal. Then the second mistake they did is the introduction of AI at the onset of this thing. As a mangana approvals. So abanta babons bi kerosha ya chagit. What I liked about NHIF, and I said it here, NHIF, you go to make claim on any emergency. Yeah, what the rules will approve. Sometimes they approve immediately. Lakini case elective, it's not emergency. It's emergency. Now we get it. We 5 billion. One elective we just sing Jomo Roire na wako when with this month or when next month or such when you know in December they got to hold on act. So baga approve cases for me according na chibesa babuate. Ono shaero kendi yonsi kwa ngoto actually it was a record 3 seconds. Kendi yonsi kwa ngoto ma se system ya sha within 3 seconds it approved.
Kenda rualiko.
Kero gya vera approved. Una nyagita alito kunyarokani moroire ngaturi kwenyu. So again, I will score another goal.
That's true.
So create a gap between serikali able to pay need claims. So that was a second problem. A third problem, opo maana mboling bado ni yetole kaigoro ka kitore kaigoro ebintu mbikoleka ne birebia lakini asense yetole ebinge bikokoleka na nebibe na ende na senge jonense ya shaitani tole. So chinya kitali njiro chiko kole ebintu very faithfully, and I also want to say na biko nyarika chinya kitali njiro chitako kole ebintu buna bibwenerta. So a system where kero ya bete introduced yarenga unchecked. Yarenga so free at all ends. So of course chinya kitali njiro chiatagete advantage of that. Chiga chaka will create fictitious claims echibono bago claim kwe asinga njirende ya profiteering. It's because the system was so weak at first. The system it was so weak. So nakieko roko ramna ba enkoro kio kwenye gitari kio kwenye olenye gitari nero roya alenge kabisa makutiga erede sa tige kana baro ile bataiyo lakini ya alenge a level 4 hospital na ero mbagero somehow na bako yani to metage claims was sharp. It's because of the weakness in the system. Onye ndiba take the time ko install this system through a system. This system has been receiving upgrades carrying news. So when you buy a system with standard, what is safeguards? What introduce? Not even the fictitious claims be So Kerabacha realizing that these mistakes have happened. Nalibacha get one process you verify claims. But you see now this process of verifying claims puts hospitals which are genuine also in the same problem because now they have to verify every claim. Okerabanyo reviri buya bamaiko byakana perivitali buya mabaki baba But now that has shaken the healthcare system completely. Nkibono gego kolekana bono iga. Omurwaire ochobwanigu mwatoma claims uchiase sha like us kwenye tutare peneni gukurutumia sha watoma claims maybe 12-13 million in a month. Sha asenjoke verify all these claims yara chirichiri rais una normal inpatient nini chirochi ya gweteri rais kwanya reje chire go send 3 million. So yago tebi for this month we are paying you 3 million. Asenjo all these others lazima chira itera correct verification. Wakanyora nganchire payable bamako kwakana. So bagwakana through 3 million out of chibe sababu ente gwakana 12 million. Kama kwenye nyakitari kuna nyancho weji bilete 7.2 million. Turaka na suppliers, turaka na external doctors, turaka na bandawons. So essentially what is happening? SHA is pushing you into a debt trap. Mojo tuwala madeni are unsustainable. Emiti yebete kitatoka kwa era suppliers wanga go supply, external doctors wanga go work naye, wafanyikazi wao wage ande skuboslo, so the healthcare system fails. Ikiaro nyakitari tako kora the healthcare system has failed.
That's true.
So I know and I can't really say ne government what the problem is at now. Ne government what the problem, but the problem yaring at the inception. You got them go correct and it's affecting healthcare right now. And that is the cost of not doing things right when you start. So before the call in the care health. What I can also say, I think I didn't do like a in a way, progressive. But a problem you actually and it had to affect for long. I like speaking honestly. It had to affect for long. Bonaiga, serikali, I got them up nanga. Chinya kitali actually na abaibi. Na serikali na ile wate mandate yo protect abaibi abamba koraki baiba. Which is not bad kera una mateba nyakitali dari chance chire sense abantu ngokora barama goso ngo happen hali. But if we approach issue ya bonoiga una saints versus sinners, go say police versus criminals, ndogo sort out problem hii. Lazima tuenstui on the table. Toborani serikali na imoro jama gosa akobera. Actually if the government gave us an opportunity na chingitari turaba konya sana to strengthen this system. Because for example personally I'll tell them onye mutagete system ye work number 1 ensure you do your due diligence you mutara approve a case. Alright. Tigankole case umauja kokora due diligence yote beto kongakana. Take your time to do due diligence. Hakikisha kesi kengere buya
umanye ko confirm
that's also many problems so that if corona achire kokora it doesn't take time before you pay me kiara ngwa bartaki kwa due diligence again to yoko kokora ngilibono after surgery kelinga ki o confirm ngo mane surgery ja kole kaneta but you whether monto na qualified and all that onyora ngwa kolete kale so number 1 tigatolike linga ki cases chiko approved to approve cases kulingana na uwezo bwe insurance wakana. To approve cases after doing due diligence elia mapema. Yes. The number 3 they got to approve cases in preference of how urgent they are. My emergency they got just sorted fast, but even though very elective, they can take time. We not go approved ngora sustainably.
Yes.
The number 2 let's the process of payments also be open and predictable. SHA can come up with and say, for example, I think enjoy your problems to what your payment. We want to start paying these payments. Maybe this round to work on 30% of the claims. We try next time 40%. So that percentage expected you global across all facilities.
Yes, sir.
So until all players are seen to be important, SHA will always have a problem. tigachinya gitari as much as chinde chi abaire suspected of fraud chinde chi abaire o mine confirmed to have been fraud nganki igiasi kama gusalika yonke minute biasi
that's true.
If you take that perception then things will not work.
Biasana kwa ile biasa sema ikisemi twasura sema bochenu. Allow me get back to wamangana ngete corruption. When the government was coming into office, amongst kisegi ba kwanirete ba guchukurwani sana ni kisegi cyamangana ngete corruption. But we are 2 years away from election. So far, how far are we in matters the fight against corruption?
Corruption as Kenya might do bad on the end of your fight. I would think very sure. But Kenya, the paradox here around and they go to we are more than 70, I think around 80% Christians. Naenda andita yo go support corruption. But again, kwanya orange to koranki very corrupt. Na very funny. Abantu wandi na wago kana but I want to agree. Corruption in Kenya. And in this round, my problem is not actually government. My problem is unabananchi. Ngise kogenda nguraro ande kiara bono no nche no mo bisande ngurabantu nguracha baro bisiana okonyoro mo Kenya nyene gasha uchikoli na babu ata masakara pia qualified lakini nyuma atara ndo bisigete na ndi ngoli bangali ku nyomba ngankia ko beka muhuka mai kondo bisi so yani nyuma omo Kenya atara sabo
tayari na
ero monyene ni bangete kuru na and sometimes so betu musabero monyene na bawo suggested una boba kwa mtu bwate mondo getaga teba na ndi nkagitenga na hari right usually abara ibaito is a mirror reflection of who we are. Abara ibaito is a mirror reflection of who we are.
That's true.
Because abara yaba ebale in office kati so bas mbora ni tu achote ke bage ndike gaseto.
That's true.
Mbora ni tu achote teruto abara yaba on spin tu achote. So it is perceived ni tu achote who is best among us. Yani ulinga na romu ya pia semtu. So onye ko roja mo mpio no mo hivi. Kora manyana ya no mo hivi giata. So I think if we look at this issue in that way, fundamentally na watu wabasha change ebintu ebingase sense yaito. Because to what abanga anti-corruption yoka ni fight corruption in Kenya. Anti-corruption commission. Anti-corruption commission abantu wali serikali ya Kenya nero kubaka no mushara ama jikabo mbunga gweteli kero bata ite case ke basolo kianda judiciary bono ni nchante baya no moyi nche na corruption ataira no moyi ulio konga no mushara na keresi miante bikorati ke binte byo kwa omonto ikora motigaye iko to jende giyo corruption ya aya omo yo internet na bara beta mboli kende ante iwana ege ndokora ege ndegi kire code kerona kire code abantu bali ngutikera who are the police who work with the office of the director of public prosecutions plus the judiciary onye abantu abali corrupt in still can I be productive? I can't be productive. So the fight against corruption first must start with Kenyans. Aba Kenya banene intwe number 1 tukane kwena na hongo ndakinere likibaki asoerete ngakimba ka citizens baga kolire arrest mati usenko ibolege ndiki umuskali okomonyora igaga kusabega ali hongo abana inchi boka balinge gali wa mu arrest wa mu police station until tuike asebuna aba Kenya tukukana pin tutake tuko participate in corruption still the fight against corruption in Kenya cannot be true asengenjo abara yabamba maitenga abanda aba ukana mbata corruption lakini weekend uko bata moja mwana ngo bakuninde libu abantu abamyo kagocha kwarali abantu aba chikura chigoika ngise ko bakunieli weliwo na bagonjora umade that is still corruption because your decision to vote has been influenced by money you still in corruption so until aba Kenya tutike ko ba plus for corruption corruption will always be there kera wachoro mo MP ole corrupt como MP yo ogendo ewo besa boke ko itiama chikata bwenereti ka koti umojaji babwatana no prosecutor nonde na baroba bako ni ukende wa interfere na justice so corruption becomes rampant and difficult to handle so corruption ninja for me I don't want to blame our leaders because how did we put them in office it's through corruption
ukaka no besa wakekwa
and Kenya to manyoko ko msiye kura na shilingi 50 sitaisa inyuko kura na njumi
yesana ndikibiro bikomyeka sana tuwatanya kidaika inye gusiseto Isato. But I want us to a little bit talk about Manganale Bosiaiga 2027 elections and beyond. And that will be our last discussion. I'll give you a parting shot. Korean. Toro chichikura sana iga. But I have no Korean Mangana siasa nende you are an officer. Krokening so ko boli buya wakwane rigore yinchira abachol bugona toko kurwa because uraga nakwa tebira bukalinga kunyo morayona kal corrupt inchira mubege to probably one na mubege to through corruption usendo mo the corrupt kubumura so what factors majorly key factors that will shape the 2027 elections and how can politicians and the parties prepare for a competitive and peaceful process?
Tinta kiti mpe prophet of doom out pale wako prophets of doom bara wako rama be but sometimes even keroroche even to biko chikoba na ndeni na obire bibe abantu na wako ka prophet of doom but you have just said the truth siasa yetu ya Kenya ya 2027 and for me ndoje ekale siasa erenguzo sana especially as the sitting president na nekarango tawe otaringa na singe como support sometimes we have to be realistic with the even tumna biko happen again tukiagarata moya akabu chikura rais tu kera moya as much as uru olenga on the ballot actually moya olenga on the ballot kera nero como sukuma na singe njo the opposition became very united. I remember Mondo Beko Dalengo at that time Orenge serious and Nyachawitu. Abandi won't spin over Unganite Bakalam. So unless Siasa 2027, Abanda our opposition Iva Ungane, Yuna Roleko very difficult. Siasa Yeuchkova Sana as the sitting president. I think in Jayaki, a Roma don't want a sitting president. Na buate abando gete at least ko wense mo gete ake kirense mo ake anyo monto na royo mo manyete nando ramo ake
komusira
abanda abandi babo matiangi babo we kabali kichikura we kaba bakole sana e campaign yo koli kichikura lakini baone ngende nene we kaba be united asinge nje yake barabwa banyene na una alabire baletre siasa yo kingship ebata eteko chamo nga amugashagwa na bwata bayiko yakoleta matiangi na bwata bagusi yakoleta and the Gen Z population Eugene Wamalwa na bande ngoleta barabaluya. That is how they have approached it and I think for me gavana ba missed the mark enjira konyora Gen Z bachire tribalism konyoya chakire kwa onde bwensi utagete koba a strong contender in the next elections and go alinge kogenda ninchira Gen Z konyoya bachakire kwa rengere. Forget about tribe. How can you have all people together basing it on the Gen Z unafanya bacha akire na roche mbako mongi na geto lenge for me olenga around 50 Mombasa ka kweroke Gen Z yani game meeting akanya aba Kenya once wacha akire we identify na mangana tribeless kera Gen Z was more about tribelessness ono abuno abanda opposition chibomi be akire one on goal koira na back to the narrative of uniting your people from tribe before you come we negotiate. So because of that, onye mbago chiko umira ko wata na baigwane nje bono onye konyana bikira bagusibane in my pocket tegera to chiko negotiate to go difa naye bagusibane mbago chiko wakira kura alibego onye konyana bikira bagusibane amo to go difa naye mbago chiko wakira kura. So what that means, the only person who chikonyora most likely votes from just across the board anywhere never ninkenke is only root. Abanda chikula chawa segment in a way they must work together for the equation to work. The number two is that abanda wa opposition again toruta go choba kwera unabona nkwaro je waka Kalonzo umaita ko kwani ndubune joke but ke make sense.
That's true.
Ogote bangu chole kwa gachira ndo chipara nani yawe chibuo to buati na matobe ne vumbi ngagiora nyari ko bangira abakenya bonse chipara. You see, it looks like a joke, but Kenyans single kabali be bowling lakini si ukweli umuntu yobiro bora for long onye na empara yabo etararosi nakiagoje. So even controlling the political narrative as opposition yababere rakongo eba jagite ndo klikia one time na ndike ndo understand the president yetu is very wise. The again to kliyo koleta nakiago njura ndo keros kiaba kiaba positive wasari waroje una bando wa morogete tanga karose movement ya tanga ngwaro wono bagende ke bajagite nga one time okay remember kamono yekira secretary make sense history ya one time by this quiz yake. So until they come with a political narrative it is centered on what they are going to do about our opposition. Yes, this thing is going to be a challenge to them. But for example, housing in what alternative do they have? Economic plans wrong. What alternative do they have? Like me, if you ask me, one of the challenges a president it's so easy to take him down. He likes talking about Singapore, which is true, but Singapore is achievable. Jengo support India in having a Singapore in Kenya in 2050. The problem is, I don't want to die of starvation today. Niki build Singapore in 50 years. So, a politician, you rather take a balance between getting to Singapore and living a better life today. You can be a strong opponent against the president. Because the president, about focusing on the future is very clear. But about how to make people comfortable today, I want for me now to challenge around which maybe opposition no when they go build on. Otherwise, our politics in 2027 violence and are matching Kenyans that there's no need for us to engage in violence.
That's true.
Our youth tigakuanga ko chikwake kura ngoganyete ocho chikuru tamagena ligenalia one kura yao. You see in the by-elections that happened, youth participation here against sana abantu mbaromanyete babangeto on the youth to vote for them. The only way is to motivate these youth to work. Youths will be there in the rallies, but they will not vote.
Wow, thank you. Yamano sana singenchuko chadan. Wanchumalilia to abeira igana dana singenchukulilia Kenya's political state majorly. Tuagwatiraniire sana kuraza sema ichi kamera Franklin Mayunga kuraza sema yakaruye studio ruta lude ni muro chalia wanchubulile mangana maya sinchire yobwenge nasige kerebosio tengo mubadayano kamboka gisoi uyitwabera monera egotraso mubulio kwaneta kwaneke wikenu umubulio bogo team editor insubra ibo Breton Makoli na baminto bose singenjuku watarana kwaneke wikenira mangana maya nasige kerebosio nganda kurilia ta TV ne robrabo usinchire ngoro kwa Cyrus Azizi.